I get it, you're staring at a huge screen on the website and wondering if dropping a few $1,000s on a 75-inch commercial monitor is really worth it for your office or classroom. You've probably heard the buzz about big format touch displays and the promise that they'll make meetings smoother, training sessions more engaging, and digital signage look razor sharp. But the last thing you want is to end up with a glass pane that sits there doing nothing more than collecting dust. That hesitation is real, especially when the budget is tight and the stakes are high. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's walk through what this LG 75TR3PN Pro actually brings to the table, where it shines, and where you might want to keep looking. I've spent a good chunk of time reading through the technical rundown, digging into what professionals in similar roles are saying about large format touchscreen monitors, and thinking about how the features map onto everyday workflows. The goal here isn't to hype the specs. It's to figure out whether the monitor will solve the problems you have right now. First off, the size. 75 inches of UHD 4K real estate is a statement piece. In a conference room, that means you can lay out a full spreadsheet, a multi-slide deck, or a high-resolution video without squinting. In a retail environment, the same screen can double as a digital sign that shows crisp product images and videos that catch passing customers' eyes. The real benefit shows up when you combine that visual clarity with the built-in capacitive touch and pen support. Imagine a design team sketching concepts directly on the screen with an LG pen, or a sales trainer walking through an interactive module where participants tap, drag, and annotate in real time. The IPS panel helps keep colors consistent from side to side, so you're not fighting with color shifts when you're standing at the far edge of the room. Now, the thing that sets this model apart from a regular 4K TV is the Google Certified Display badge and the deep Google integration. The monitor talks straight to Google Workspace, so you can pull up a slides deck, a docs file, or a Sheets spreadsheet with a few taps, and any changes you make show up instantly for everyone else logged in. For teams already living in the Google ecosystem, that eliminates a layer of friction. You don't need a separate PC or a dongle to cast your screen. The built-in LAN and RS-232 ports make it possible for an IT admin to push firmware updates, schedule power cycles, or change input sources across a fleet of monitors from a single console. In practice, that means you can roll out a new company-wide dashboard without sending anyone to the front of the room to flip a switch. The ELGi AI Helper is another piece of the puzzle. It's not a full-blown AI assistant, but it does offer on-screen suggestions based on what you're doing, like reminding you to switch to a different layout when a meeting runs over, or prompting you to dim the screen if ambient light drops. In a busy office where you're juggling multiple meetings back-to-back, that kind of subtle guidance can keep the room running smoothly without a dedicated facilitator. All that sounds great, but the monitor isn't a universal solution. The biggest practical drawback is the price tag. You're looking at a commercial-grade product, and the cost reflects the large panel, the touch pen technology, and the networking features. If your primary need is just a big display for occasional presentations, you might get more bang for your buck with a standard 75-inch 4K TV and a separate wireless presenter. Also, the touch functionality is capacitive, which works beautifully with a stylus but can feel a bit floaty if you're used to the pressure-sensitive feel of a drawing tablet. For graphic designers who rely on precise pen pressure, the experience might feel less natural, even though the pen does support basic annotation. Another consideration is the installation footprint. A 75-inch panel is heavy and needs a sturdy mount or a dedicated kiosk. If your space is a modular office that changes layouts often, you'll need to factor in the time and labor for mounting, cable management, and possibly reinforcing the wall. The LAN and RS-232 ports are fantastic for remote control, but they also mean you'll have to set up network routing and possibly firewall rules if you want to manage the displays from outside the local network. That's not a deal breaker, but it does add a layer of complexity that a plug-and-play TV simply doesn't have. So, who should walk away with this monitor in the box? If you run a collaborative workspace where teams frequently brainstorm on a shared screen, a university lab that needs interactive whiteboards, a retail chain that wants uniform, high-resolution digital signage, or an enterprise that already uses Google Workspace for everything, the LG 75TR3PN Pro checks a lot of boxes. The combination of 4K detail, touch pen capability, and built-in Google integration means you can replace a projector, a separate interactive whiteboard, and a handful of laptops with a single piece of